Bing. Sort of Bing. Now Bing. We're like the time, Michael. We're probably going to muck around with website 1. Yeah. So I was reading some more stuff about the Stripe thing. That's good job. That's the test server and no important information at all. Somewhere it was the other thing I was reading here. Yeah, the interesting thing, I was just reading more as I was writing a blog about this morning. I was just reading more about the thing that I mentioned to you. So obviously this is the thing we were working through, and this is where I previously read that Stripe apparently takes care of updating cards for you. It doesn't have the ability to change the card the customer has on file. The interesting thing about this click through here, it's like apparently, I always find it difficult to believe that this works. It says, now when you save a customer with Stripe, their card will continue to work even if the physical card gets replaced by the bank. Stripe works directly with card networks so that your customers continue using your service without interruption.
Really?
Yeah.
Go up.
I mean, what I wonder is, not that we shouldn't, what's the word? Not that we shouldn't complete this feature. I think, particularly given we've started on it. It occurs to me that so your bank's issued you a new card, and have you activated that new card?
Not yet.
No.
But they say that my old card will deactivate within 30 days or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And yeah, I'm not sure that I believe that this works, but what this seems to imply, so like if your customers get a new card from their banks, or the number or expiry date changes, and then it's saying that this is now somehow what they're storing on the side is not ultimately the card details, but it's a sort of a connection to the account with the bank. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. So that's sort of I've got a new card that I haven't activated yet. But yes, so
I don't know whether that really works all the time.
No, well, indeed. Well, we could. Not that we should stop what we're doing, but it may be an interesting thing to see if if you let your old card deactivate, whether it just handles it smoothly or not. Rather than doing the update. So anyway. Okay, so where we were up to yesterday was brain engaged. I just added Jenny so she could be in the premium thing. I wonder what will happen now. I guess it will. It will still not be displayed in there because her profile is set to. Right, I hadn't realized we gave people the option of not displaying their profiles.
I think they did at some point.
Yes, no, but they do indeed have that functionality. So
last night I was reading some. Yesterday I was reading some about Elixir. Elixir in action.
Yeah.
Great. Good book.
Did you learn anything interesting?
Lots of little things.
Right.
I'm only in the first part, like the
Right.
language building blocks and stuff. Like a lot of it was covered kind of in the tutorial,
Mm-hmm.
but like for instance, yeah, like the online Elixir tutorial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But like apparently, uh, like one of the idioms
Mm-hmm.
for writing, like preparing a byte stream to be written to disk,
Mm-hmm.
is to use list concatenation.
Right. Uh-huh.
Like if you're preparing it, piecewise,
Mm-hmm.
where you're building up the pieces over
Mm-hmm.
time,
Mm-hmm.
then there's this thing called an I/O list,
Uh-huh.
and you can basically it functions like a list in that
Mm-hmm.
it has a head and a tail and all
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that. So
Yeah. Cool. Yes. Um, yeah. Federico is saying like we should finish working through the Phoenix guides independently, and then maybe come back to pair on the um, actually building
well,
something.
I do have the book he has too, Programming Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I have that, and I pretty much have all the major ones now. I think I have Phoenix, well, Programming Phoenix, Elixir in Action,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Programming Elixir, and Meta Programming Elixir.
Wow. Yes. Maybe I should be reading more books.
I think it like I don't know, like especially when you first learn a language,
Hmm.
like it's possible to just bumble around and try to learn it.
Hmm.
But like if you get a well written book,
Hmm.
it can speed up like connecting the dots for you. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Hmm.
Because it's like it kind of like explains like, oh, this is why this thing is this way.
Right.
This is why, and it also can explain like I just find it also interesting like certain things like why do we have two different styles of strings
Mm-hmm.
in Elixir, right?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now I think they did actually explain that partially in the tutorial, but it basically goes back to like that in Erlang
Mm-hmm.
they used to have everything as like a char list or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
the string.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I
Yes.
mean,
Go
even
on.
with books, there's certain things like how you can write binary, you can write bytes out and stuff
Mm-hmm.
in Elixir
Mm-hmm.
with the brackets.
Right.
Like for instance, I just posted that. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's like a literal
Mm-hmm.
that means 16 bits with the value 1
Mm-hmm.
as an unsigned integer.
Mm-hmm.
Like it hasn't dawned on me yet
Mm-hmm.
what you can actually do with that. Like
Mm-hmm.
can you do bit twiddling?
One presumes.
I mean, if they're going to let you write out bytes at that level, right, you
Mm-hmm.
should be able to manipulate them in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm. Indeed. Yes. Well, I'm looking at where we got to yesterday, which is that if we now run our back set of charge things, then the premium plus one now fails, saying that we cannot reuse this Stripe token.
really?
Yes, and you might want to pull out the latest code and check that you get the same error. And I'm just I'm wondering if I can fix that just by deleting this post request here for the Premium Plus membership. Kind of funny that the, I mean, they're in different order. I was looking at this method post if we search for that. I was trying to, look here at these two tokens. Yeah, I mean, the token that the premium membership thing is using, or at least is posted, is the same in both premium and the premium plus. I'm not sure why the premium plus one would now fail. Except again, go on.
At some point, it must have actually communicated with the real server.
Yeah.
So it's reusing this old token.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing now, I think locally, oops, I'm seeing like now, so this is probably the reason that that I was adding the where's it gone? The things here to the Puffing Billy. The reason that this was added is so that it didn't. I mean, there's this thing here where these requests, they start varying in different ways. So, like, let's have a look at the fixtures again. The request cache. So, you know, there's this entire body.
But because it's not, see, as we were discussing, because it's not like tied to the feature,
Right.
it's less useful than it could be.
Yeah, indeed. And I was, part of the thing I mentioned in the blog post this morning, but had not yet actually done, was so I was thinking of, because I think I asked the Puffing Billy people about this.
And they said, too bad.
First I'm just going to check if I did ask them, and then I'll see what they said. So yeah, directories for different tests. Not currently built in, no. You can try changing the cache path in a before block in your Rails helper and add the description to see if that works. So that's a great suggestion that we should probably follow.
So the cache path, is that some internal thing?
I think that's in here. Like we've got the cache path set here.
Right.
So if we want,
oh, I see.
Right, because that's where that goes.
Depending on the feature name.
Yeah. So what we would need to have there is we would need to have. So we've already got a Puffing Billy hook somewhere, I think.
What?
I think so, because part of the reason I think that is because if we look at the charge activity thing here, we've got. No, I think what I've done, I've maybe locked it so that basically anytime you run JavaScript, it runs Puffing Billy. So if we look again at the hooks on the auth config, where's it? JavaScript, capybara. Right, because what we've got. So yeah, JavaScript will basically make it use the JavaScript driver, and I've set the JavaScript driver up to be Poltergeist Billy. and Poltergeist Billy will run with these test options, and it's basically sets the proxy there.
Yeah.
Um,
So
so I guess the JavaScript is an existing it's an existing hook rather than a custom hook. I'll just see if we've got at JavaScript in that directory. Only in a comment in the, okay, right. So for example, we can configure database cleaner to do something like so. So we could,
I don't see.
you don't see what, sorry?
Go on.
Um,
We're going to need to somehow figure out how to tell like what feature we're on.
yes. Well, I think we may be able to get the feature name. But so if we said something like before JavaScript, if we set the cache path like this, yeah, as I say, we would need to know, we want to slip in there we'd actually have to create the directory as well, wouldn't we?
It won't create it for us.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it will actually. I come to think of it. The request cache. This is then its scenario name that we want, isn't it? Well, I guess the way the VCR has got it set up is that it does it via the feature name, and then it has files inside it separate to the. So we kind of want. We would kind of like it to be feature name, scenario name, like that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So then we have the question in Cucumber. So Cucumber get feature name in before block. Okay. Get feature file. That's an issue there. Referenced. Would be a great. So a lot of people are saying it would be a great feature to have.
That's Cucumber JVM.
There seems to be. I don't. They're using.
Someone's saying that if you pass scenario into the block,
like if we do this.
Yeah. Scenario outline feature name will give you.
I'm just going to hook this on the debugger and see if we can just explore it. Yeah. Okay. So you're saying, what do you think? Scenario
underscore outline. Let's see what that does first.
That scenario outline is not a method.
Interesting. Scenario.feature. Oh, for some reason they removed it in Cucumber 124. I have not yet found another way to get at the feature name. Wonder why they would remove that information.
It looks like we can get the scenario title. Yeah, we can get the scenario title.
Really?
Yes. Scenario.
What about the? Can we get the feature? Dot feature.
We can get scenario.feature and feature.title. No.
Dot name.
Feature name. Yes.
So we can get that.
Yep. So we can have scenario feature name. Oh, that was the wrong one. And we can have scenario.title. But these will both need to be. So is there a word for human to basically snake case, I guess, in Rails? Do we have a to snake case? Is that a Rails thing? We just do, if I do this and I do snake case, no. Rails. I know they have a
underscore.
oh called underscore.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it will do. Oh no, that works.
It works now.
Yeah, so those we would want them basically both to go to underscore, like so. And that line's getting a bit long, so we could take that out and call this is going to be our feature name, and this is going to be our scenario name, which is going to be this, and that's going to be that, and that's going to be that. Right. And then let's say continue there for that one. And then we run it again. We see what happens.
You're going to end up totally breaking the cache.
Sure. Okay, so we've got a different kind of error. Okay, so it's giving us a warning there about saying that rather than calling it title, we should call it name there. I guess we could go and have a look at what has it done in the cache. At the moment, it doesn't look like it's created any different files. I mean, any different directories. I guess we kind of probably I guess we don't need to set the path back to something else, do we? Hmm.
So what happened?
It's thinking now.
Everything broke.
Well, no, with the yes, maybe everything's right. We have one. Yeah, the test that just texts the sort of trivial test passes there. I mean, they all break there, and like they're not showing the link for signing up for him, which I think is the JavaScript one that pops up. We're not seeing new directories being, and unless this is not synced. I'm not seeing anything there. I sort of wonder if I would need to Well, no, the YAML files can't contribute to that. Yeah, I kind of wonder if this is sort of like if we're breaking Billy under the hood. Do you know what I mean? And I wonder if does this need to be inside here? I mean, it shouldn't do.
Oh. It's not creating new directories, basically.
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
I mean, I think just try that there.
Well, I don't know.
Okay, so anyway, let's. I mean, there could be all sorts of things going on. Let's have a look at what it says the cache path is. Oh, that looks like a cache path that could be repeated, doesn't it? That
Yeah.
if you would have thought that that might work. I mean, I wonder if that if the configuration all has to be done at once,
Right.
like if it's set once,
Yeah.
like this gets. I mean, it's this is happening here. I guess we've basically got a JavaScript on the whole feature file. The individual scenario is running there. We can see we're in charge users money, sign up for Premium Plus membership. Charge users money, and then sign up for Premium Plus membership. So we're there. We're running this scenario. We're running that single scenario. And on this occasion, well, I've moved those around, but if we continue there, creates those pages. It's interesting. Yes, it's not for Premium Plus. I guess it's on the hook there, waiting to see if the JavaScript appears, and it does not. We could have a quick look at this and see if there's an error message or something. No, and basically the sign up button itself is not being created, which is that's JavaScript running. I wonder if the way the Billy is set up, that Billy as part of its a warm up creates that direct, the direct, like when we start Cucumber, it's going to run the contents of all of these files, right? And so we basically call Billy configure, and we do this on the first occasion. And then we're calling a static configure method here. Why has it not gone to that method? Self-configure, there we go. So if a block is given, which we give it a block, we yield and pass in the config entity, which here is basically a new config object.
Where's config coming from?
And config, so it's there, it's creating the new config class, and that's it itself. So actually this is doing similar to the way I've set up the project metric gem, which is that so it's going to create an instance of this config, and so then it has all of these different accessors. And so for example, the cache path, is it mentioned? Yeah, the cache path is there, is something that we can set on it. And so I guess if we call it again, it's got this being memoized. So on a second occurrence of calling it,
it's not gonna.
Yeah. But it looks here. So the cache, like they've got a reset option that will reset the thing to, like it'll stick it in they're puffing Billy and whatever the temp deer is. I mean, what we could have a little look at is how cache path is managed throughout here. So we've got a persist cache option there that will make the directory in this case.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, yeah, that's, I mean, that's there. This is the store operation, which I think is actually where it kind of writes the cache out to memory. So, you know, at this point, if it's set to persist cache, which it is, it should start creating those things. I wonder if it's sort of failing. Maybe it can't.
Well, you're saying it. If you go back to config, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll configure. Well, yeah, that should work.
I'm just going to step away for a second. I'm tempted to just run it again with the debugger so that we can have a look at the rest of the cache variables there. My suspicion is it's kind of, there's some kind of failure going on under the hood that we can't quite see.
Right.
Like, I wonder at order of running. Like we've basically here, at this point, this code should run. This causes this code to run immediately. And then this code should run afterwards. I just wonder if that needs to be out of the way. But so if we look at the C object, it's, oh, that's interesting. It just continues for some reason.
So
go on.
If you go into the how about this?
Go on.
Do we know? I guess we don't know what that. So if we do Billy dot send cache path or whatever, what do we get?
You mean like, right?
Like,
well, we can do like c dot send cache path.
No.
Go on.
Take what you have and run it, but instead of putting the buy bug inside the block, put it outside the block.
Okay. You mean like have it like here after this point here?
Yeah.
I don't know if we can like refer to.
You can't. You probably can't. You have to hack into it.
Like, yeah, if we're at the Billy level, what does it give us? We can register drivers. It requires config. and config is just, so we could do like Billy, the private method to config, we can configure, we can send a log message. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, we can pass the config in, but we can't read it back, which seems a bit perverse.
Wait. What is the thing? Can you go to the point where it writes out?
The point where it writes out the
Yeah.
the like here.
We need to. Can you determine what that actually is? What that object is?
This object.
Yeah.
This is the cache object.
So, like, how does that live inside?
Well, it's kind of a singleton, and I think, yeah, I don't know where it exists. We can stick a bybug in there.
Hold on. Go into what? Yeah. I don't know.
No, well, let's. This is. Let's try this again with a few of the. Oh well, no, I did it there. So anyway, at this point here, this is before the feature file itself is loaded, and we are currently here setting the cache path. So I'm going to put that onto the next one there, and so c.cache path has been set. We initially set it to that directory that we know already exists. So then we continue. So now we end up here, where we've started reading in the feature. We've done the other bits and pieces. Continue. Interestingly, it doesn't immediately hook on the bybug there, but I would expect it to. I mean, this one calls this with this block. That block calls immediately. I would have thought that this block would end and then it would hook on that bybug, but maybe I only added that after it was saved, and so
it wasn't taken up.
Yeah, it was. It's reading from the, and that looks. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna maybe put that. Oh, that's timed out with the following resources still waiting for fontsgoogle.com. Okay, interesting. Okay, so we're back in. This is the first initial setup. Yeah, the cache path is there. We set the persist cache to be equal to true. Continue. We hit here. The cache path is that. Continue. Now we're out. So this is now we're outside. So we can see that Billy exists. So we could ask what public methods it has. Go on. No, we can take config. Can we ask about the cache path? Oh, at that point, yeah, externally, that's what we would like it to be.
So, but inside that object,
The
did you
cache
put a
object.
bugger in there?
I did, and I think we haven't reached the point where it will yet actually try and write something to the file.
Okay, we'll continue.
Yeah. And now we're there. So now, and we're in this situation, so we can ask the question: Do we want to persist the cache? And we do, and we can ask what the cache path is at this point, and it is what we expect. So then, I mean, we can even ask the questions: Does the file currently exist? I imagine the answer would be no, because it's not. So we would expect then that here we would be able to write that. I will just step over. We're in there. Okay. So it looks to me like it's failing at the point of trying to create this directory. And I think maybe why would that have worked? Anyway, it's annoying there that because the error occurs, we jump out of that context, and I lose the. Well, I guess I could still. These are all. I could still try that directly. What? Okay, and it says exception: no such file or directory.
What does that actually mean? I mean, isn't that?
It's very strange.
Mukdir? It's saying Mukdir, right?
Yeah, I mean, you would have thought in this context here, we could say Mukdir and get this string, which is under the hood what I think that it does, and do this. And it's saying no such file or directory. I mean, I wonder if that's because it's nested. It's trying to create two at a time. I think it is. I think that's the problem. I think basically it's trying to create multiple levels of directories at the same time. So we might just ask the question about, well, they probably, I mean, making it support making multiple levels of directories would involve patching Billy itself.
What we could do is just concatenate the two.
We could concatenate the two. We could also we could, you know, we could take that line of code from Billy here, like this, and we could basically first set it like this, and then you know, we could. Is it really stupid? I don't know. We could like, and this is a massive hack. I just want to see if it works. And then like this, basically, this would
necessarily want to create it every time, though.
No, but we've got the unless file exists there.
No, I mean, I think Billy only creates it if there's actually something to write to the cache. If something's.
Yeah, I think it only attempts to create it if there is you know, if the persist cache is set to true. But we know in our circumstances that we do.
No.
Right. You mean that like if it's coming in here, it's only because someone has tried to store something.
Yeah, because like there's actually been a JavaScript request.
Right.
Which is probably all the time, basically.
Yeah, but I think in our setup, it probably doesn't hurt just at least to see if we can get on to the next level to see if this if that will run and it will create the directories for us. Because I think basically what's been happening there is it's being unable to read the results of the recorded network connections, maybe. Okay, so that's back to the earlier failure that we had, but we can. But now we have. Right. Now we have a separate directory for that, which is pleasing. Now, why would that now not work standalone?
Well, what is
the error?
The context of this whole thing, anyway.
Well, this is the test for doing.
The old one. This is the old one. Okay.
This is the existing thing that passed previously, and it's saying you cannot use a Stripe token more than once.
So what I would do is go delete the YAML.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff.
Right.
Rerun it and see if that's.
Yeah. Cassettes.
Steps, right.
Charge users money. Okay, so now we run that.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, that's kind of cool. So then what that probably suggests is we should probably delete. I mean, I think our change. We haven't actually got to the point where the test is actually testing the thing.
You want to go in and change it so that it no longer ignores? Did you change it so it doesn't ignore that the tokens, or that it does ignore on that path?
It's still it's still ignoring those tokens, but
It's ignoring them, right?
I think yeah, that's the Puffing Billy configuration. It's still ignoring the tokens, but now
No. See,
yeah, it's ignoring the. I mean, it's not ignoring them. I know what is it? Yeah, it's not ignoring them, but potentially,
if you uncomment it now, it might work.
well, it has worked. I mean, this was
No. I mean the larger issue.
right, but well, all of the tests except this one were failing with this error before.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah,
Uncomment it.
well, I think quite strongly that the thing to do now is to do the same thing. Like here, what we want to do is delete the YAML files for the other two tests there that do complex things with Stripe, and then and in fact probably delete all of them, and then rerun this thing and see if now with the separate sandboxes for the request cache, everything should pass. If they don't, I will try uncommenting this. But let me try this one first.
I'm just thinking because that's going to end up spamming us with.
Right, you're concerned that this is
it's going to just keep creating new.
It's going to keep creating new ones,
right?
Kind
of the whole point of why we're doing this.
Well, that was one of the concerns. I think the more serious one was that this was failing. Period. But yeah, okay. Well, let's remove. Let's get back to a ground zero for. Let's
remove that, and then
let's remove this, and then we'll run the whole test suite. Yeah, I mean for the charge activity.
Yeah,
and we'll see if it passes. I'll check in the set, and then you can pull it out on your side and run it your side and see if it generates any new things or not.
Well, interesting.
Yeah. So now both of those fail, saying we can't reuse the token.
I noticed how they're the same token.
Yeah, and I suspect that's which is bizarre. Because so this one runs and this one, so it generates a token here. And then for some reason it seems like, well, and this is only a hypothesis, that we are for some reason reusing the same token in these two cases. But I mean, is it? Let's see. So we've now got separate boxes for each of our things there. It's interesting. So that first one for the premium, I mean, I guess this is just coming back and saying, sorry, you can't have it.
No,
I think this is in like an error message. This is saying,
is it?
Yeah, it is. It's like there's a problem loading Stripe.
Oh,
so there was a problem loading checkout. So I think, you know, this first one runs successfully to sign up for premium membership, and we get this series of interactions like so. And then it tries to run this one, And for some reason, like if we look here, see, that's not even making a request. I mean, the only other thing that I can imagine doing here is uncommenting this and seeing if we can get them all to pass. Go on.
Why don't you delete that Stripe thing for the sign up for Premium Plus membership? Delete it.
This one.
And delete the cache for it too.
The server-side cache.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For that whole scenario.
Yeah, we did just delete both of them.
Right, but
again, yeah, okay.
They have just failed intermittently.
That's a possibility. So you're saying there, run that one
when
singly.
When the JavaScript ran, it just flew down.
Oh, maybe. Yes, that's a possibility. I would be surprised that would lead to that error, but let's try. It did pass individually. Let's try running it individually and see if that now passes. I mean, it's
gonna fail, right?
Well, let's see. No, that passed.
So now if you run in batch.
Well, I'll just have a look here. So, yes. So now we've got a full thing for the two of them. Well, so where we can run them in batch, do we get all?
Probably the last one will still fail.
Let's see. Maybe they all have to be run individually. Oh, goodness. So we've got that like that. That works. That works. We would expect this one to fail. And it does.
So if you delete the cache and the server-side cache for that scenario and rerun that individual scenario.
Yeah, but that would follow that would make the case. So there should be a link to.
Then maybe it'll actually work.
Yeah, so we delete that one. Oh no. Oh well, I can delete that one, but that doesn't matter because it's not really doing very much. And I can delete this one because it's the user decides to change membership. Although we still don't have it going all the way through to actually change the membership.
No, that's
the next step. Yep. So these two, I've just kind of I'll do that. So now the two tests, there are 14 and 36. So that's the first, and that was already passing. We'll just redo that again. And then
36.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Interesting. I've had a
Interesting.
I got a text there from Skype from Stripe.
Really?
Yeah. I wonder if here they decided to like. I mean, I'm not using the Tansaku@gmail email in there, am I? I am. Oh, we have that in there. So I think if we just change that email there to be let's just call it I also know that actually we can do plus Stripe. I just found out today doing some stuff for the Met Plus people. You can. Did you know this? You can add like a plus symbol and something, and basically create an infinite number of email addresses that will all go to your same account.
Really?
Apparently.
Didn't know that. How did you find that out?
The Met. I was doing the UX review for the Met Plus people, and they had a series of demo activities to do. And one of the notes before that was saying you'll need a different email address for each. Here's this cool Gmail feature that you can use to save you having to create lots of different email addresses.
It only exists for Gmail.
Maybe it exists for other things. They were saying it's a Gmail feature.
Okay.
Okay. So there we go. And that passes. So that's kind of cool. I'm tempted to come in here and delete the set of new ones in there that don't need to be checked in. And just clear up ever so slightly in, is it the Puffing Billy config? No. Where was that placed? I've still got like some print statement that I have here. So let's just remove that kind of crud there.
46 too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. And so in principle now, well, I just to check that they all pass, and we've got them all set up independently. And that will be quite cool, and I will be quite pleased about. Well, we should like almost get a pull request back into Puffing Billy, although it's okay. All right. The only other concern I have about Puffing Billy is about whether any sensitive like things that are then being stored are now sensitive things.
Oh right.
Like
you can eliminate tokens
in VCR, which I think you can't do in like. I mean, it's just it's these tokens going, which are test tokens.
They're all fake tokens anyway.
Yeah, I think Stripe was saying it's still a good idea to keep those secret, but that's so you can't like mash up your test server. But okay, yeah. So then we have that. So git add. We want to add all the changes to the fixtures.
Well, we have to also end up rerunning everything else eventually.
Yeah, we'll need to rerun the whole test suite and so on, and get them all separately sandboxed, which will, I think, maybe stabilize us further, or maybe it will get rid of some more intermittent failures. Who knows? But probably the most important thing to do here. So this is now adds. What are they like? Separate directories for Puffing Billy caches based on, what are they called? They are called scenario, feature and scenario names. Push origin 1241, and we shall see if that runs for you and if it has any leaks. And I'm quite tempted to just take that bit of code and stick that in here. In case other people will do the same thing.
All right, I'm running charge activity.
Okay. I'm going to run it again on my side as well.
So, I mean, if we have it sandboxed correctly,
Mm.
really the only thing that could go wrong then is like timing of like JavaScript execution
Yeah.
or UI expectations.
Right. Which is recently.
Non-trivial
Go
thing,
on.
but
Yeah. Local support suddenly seems to have all the intermittent failures. This is, I think, since we upgraded to a new version of Phantom.js. Mm. But yes, I want anyway. Anyway, did that all pass locally for you?
yes.
That's good to hear. It has, oh, for me, generated some more. If you do a git status, having run it, it does seem to have added some things to the
Yes, it did.
request cache, and you get those as well.
It also added stuff to my cassettes.
Yes, likewise. So having a look at those. Oh, so I think I've got around this before. Like if I look at these two, they're both sending like a particular hit against a particular, and like they've got some kind of code in the like path of the URL rather than as a parameter. And I think if I recall correctly, that in order to deal with that, I had to, like, you see, I've got here, like, if I replace these ones, you see what I'm doing, with now these new versions of them, then it will plug the leak, basically. But so we've got these 4 separate things, so we'll need to take the 4 separate URLs from there,
Put them
into each one. Although that was the same. Maybe that was the one I started with. And then finally, and that will also shut down the. Are they actually all the same? That would be nice if they were, because that will. Okay, so they do appear to be the same. But so having added that, I guess what I want to do is, I don't want to remove, because in principle we won't need those changes. So what I want to do is just get, I want to delete these changes. I wonder how I can do that. Like if I git check out the cassettes, that removes those issues. I think if I check this out, it will not remove those because they're new files. So what I would have to do is do remove -rf on that directory, and then do check out, and then we get back to this status, and then we could rerun the tests, and if we're very lucky, it won't generate any more new files. But you know, kind of the process of getting this, I find it difficult to believe that meant that everyone's going through this process to make things really clean. You know what I mean?
Right.
It feels very fiddly. Okay, not quite there. One left. So that implies that there's one other. Now, what was that in? Sign up for premium membership. No. Oh, right. And there's that we have to have. Isn't that the same? Looks the same. Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, did I not have a comma in there before? That is the same. And that's specifically in the sign up for premium membership. That's the. Hmm.
Huh.
Hmm. Hmm. That's very strange. We're getting a single additional request there for what appears to be like, so to this one, like the only difference there is these distinct ID things. Like we do that request in this sandbox already. It's a GET request to an HTTPS. We've got the two of them side by side. If I pull this one down below, they differ by this distinct ID.
Correct.
It's just pulling in like a thing there. Why is the... I mean, we've got some other... I was trying here, I think, to like hit these things. Why would... I mean, this is here is... These are the URLs for which we are supposed to ignore parameters. We've got... Maybe this one is from an old request that should be removed. Total Stab in the Dark is trying to add the same one, but with insecure request. That seems unlikely to have any difference. I mean, there was that locales issue that we had that was different. Like I've got this set up as ENGB there. And I guess the interesting question there is, if I now rerun it without removing those things, does it generate yet another one?
Right.
Or does that single one stabilize it, in which case we just check them both in and be done with it? So that so that seems more stable. So let's do, if we add that and we plugs up last Puffing Billy sandbox leaks git push origin. I'll put that over to you. Annoyingly, you'll need to delete some work files, but I could then try again here with running the full test suite myself. Have you got that on your side?
Yes, I'm running it. I had already cleaned up the files, but
Oh, well done. Okay,
no.
that's running clean on my side. Slightly disturbing. Maybe it's going to come back and bite us at some point. Maybe some of those little changes that I made. Anyway, is that generating more files on your side?
Yep.
Okay. But now do you want to open that file? Is that related to your encoding of?
So it's feature. So I want to open the
Support fixtures rec cache. Charge users money and sign up for premium. It's interesting. Only the sign up for premium should generate it, and not the other ones, which are doing similar. Okay, so that's your locale. So if you add that URL to the Puffing Billy RB list, so that's support, but you're in the right directory, but you need to clear. It's like Puffing Billy there. So I've got my GB one there on line 32.
Oh. So like add
You can pop that in immediately afterwards. And then if you check in those, well, you run the full test suite first just to double check that it doesn't generate any more. It's interesting that they all still pass because.
So it also created a untracked
cassette change for the VCR.
Modified cassette, the VCR cassette.
Yeah. I had to. I was getting that as well, and I had to check that in order to seal it up, so to speak. So there's no new Puffing Billy cache files. So you could then check that all in, and I could pull it out to my side and run it.
Whoa.
Go on.
Oh, right. That's the same. Features. Let's skip that. There.
Cool. Okay, so I'll run that full test my side. So with those checked in, you rerun it, and you're going to check to see if it's, and you're clean.
Hopefully you're clean.
Fingers crossed. Yes. Okay. So yeah, that puts us in a position, I guess, to continue working on the scenario that you started yesterday.
Yeah.
And maybe you want to drive on that?
I guess. Okay. So if we go into
the charge activity feature, which is not in any of the folders.
So
you could then do given I visit / charges / Tansaku / edit. And I guess if you go there, we should check that you can see, what would we expect you to be able to see there? Just reload that page on my side. Yeah, update card details, all caps. I mean, not all caps, sorry. The first letter of update card and details all being capital letters, exactly as you have it, yes.
uh,
36, yeah.
it passed.
Cool. Did it generate any? Do you want to do GST? Just to see if it. I mean, potentially that will generate more things because it is now
Right.
hitting. In order to generate, I think the button, it's running JavaScript and it's sending information to Stripe. So now you could continue with that, and in the scenario, and say, and I click update card details.
Like that, right?
Right. And then we want to, I think.
There are 2 untracked files, and there's still 2 untracked files. That's interesting. I guess it doesn't make a server side, it doesn't make any requests.
No, I mean, what I would guess that it doesn't, in as much as I would guess that to generate the stuff's already kind of there now, and so clicking the link probably just reveals a form that's already been pulled in, and then now on the next thing. So if you do like when I fill in, so it's interesting. You could just reuse the step on line 40, like to say when I fill in appropriate card details for user with email or what have you. We could just try reusing that. We might want to change it to like, when I fill in new card details, or we could just run it like that. At the moment, I don't know if we have a.
Oh, see if this actually.
It may not have all of the fields that we have expecting.
Enable find button, pay £10.
Yeah, because the button will now say update card details instead of pay. So we'll need to change that step.
When I fill in updated card details, how's that?
Oh.
And what we'll do is we'll go to charge steps. So what that'll do is that. So what button should we click?
It should say update card details. Again, that all. What is it? It's not camel case. It's camel case with spaces.
Like that, right?
Right.
That's just like normal.
Yeah. And then
human writing.
What we don't have at the moment is we don't actually have kind of once that the activity is completed, we don't have like a landing page that says, hey, yeah, your details were updated successfully, which we will probably need to create.
So it just failed silently, kind of.
Yeah, I suspect that it's basically the Rails server error there. Like, well, it may or may not be, but what we'll need to do is go into app views charges and create an update.html.erb. Yeah, and then you could just put like a H2 in there and say, your card details have been successfully updated, or whatever text you fancy. And then we probably want the last line of the test to check for the presence of that text. Yeah.
When you were testing this yesterday manually, wasn't it like not letting you change the card?
Yeah, what was happening yesterday was when I was using the my tansaku@gmail.com that I'd used previously, when I typed in that email, it automatically filled in the card number that was associated with it. Ah. So
right, but isn't that going to happen?
Very possibly. I think it's a worry. We've got you. Do you want to open that image screenshot and see what it got to there? Does this look like it's hit some kind of error? Right, it's the same error there. So for some reason, it's kind of got to a problem in the charges controller. Does it say the line number there? I guess it's on line 40.
Rescue and update.
Yeah. So we've had an error there. Sorry. So I think here. Okay. Yeah. This is a little bit of code from the. Yeah. You could just comment that out from the moment. Line 40. I mean, there's obviously some error happening. Command / yeah. Like was there a logger message there before the that error that we're seeing there is like the error that happened after the rescue. Was there a logger message? It's not visible if it was there. You could stick a bybug in there just in case on the next run it doesn't print out that logger error. Right. So what's e.message in that context?
Not use a stripe tag more than once.
Okay. So what we might need to do there is, well, one, we could delete the caches associated with this thing and rerun it from scratch.
Yes.
And it might work. We might encounter the same problem. We might also so what we've got there is we're going through the sequence of signing up for as a premium user and then trying to do it, and it may be that the cache will conflict. Like we've just solved this problem by splitting out all of the different things into separate caches, but by having them happen in a sequence. Anyway, yeah. First thing, probably delete all of the caches associated with this test and rerun from the start and see if we get the same issue. If we go on.
Support. Let's go into here.
Yep.
Request cache.
You want to go that charge users money one, yeah. So
Is there a way to do this quickly?
yeah, if you hold down Shift and click on and scroll down to click on the last one. You don't have to hold down Shift now. If you just scroll down to where the last one is, and then before you click on Post API, there exactly.
And then go into cassette.
Yeah.
Charge users money, user cassette change.
Yep. Now, if this passes, great. If it doesn't, I think we might have to consider setting up the premium membership as a kind of a background step.
What?
If this doesn't pass, I think we may have to consider setting up the premium membership as a background step rather than a, like.
It's gonna, yeah.
It's failed on the same one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would guess that's because, like we run, lines 37 through 42, what have you. We sign up. We've created that sandbox, and then it then tries to do this new transaction with Stripe, but it hits, some of the old, it's not running afresh again. So probably we need to just create the. I mean, actually, to be honest, I don't know that we need. We could just delete lines or comment out lines 37 through 41. And what we would need is a step to create a user that I think actually though we've hard coded the customer ID, so it could just work. I think again, unfortunately, we might have to reset the entire set there and see. I'm just going to go and make a cup of tea. I'll be back in like 2 or 3 minutes.
Okay.
How are we doing?
All right, I'm trying to change something.
Uh-huh.
Huh. How do you, I want to make this optional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to say, given I am logged in as a premium user.
I think you're doing the right thing. I think you just need a space in the step definition, like just after the
There.
there. Yeah.
This is still not. Oh, because it's not matching. It's got to have premium, right?
Mm.
There we go. And then, what is it? What is our value? Oh, you erased it. A Stripe customer, right?
Yeah. So if they just need to have their Stripe customer set to some value, although I think it's kind of hard coded and being ignored. So, or are you busy unhard coding it? Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So what we'd actually have to do is that, right? And then if we rerun it, maybe it'll.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what I did was I changed this to say, given I'm logged in as a premium user,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which now basically arranges for there to be this token in there,
Right. Right.
a record,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then we can retrieve that.
Right.
So what I did was I just totally removed that, like you suggested,
Right.
and it passed. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering to what degree are we really what are we really testing?
And does it well? And also, do we have any leaks left over once we've checked in all of the um, bits and pieces? But to answer your question about what we're really testing, I mean, we're certainly testing that code path can, in principle, run without,
Right.
blowing up. It's unclear to me whether a user who's previously saved their card details, if they use the same email, will they encounter that issue that I encountered? But
Okay. So it's not creating any new files on my end.
Okay. You want to
Um,
push that up, and I'll run it on my side.
sure.
Just gonna open the door.
Are you there?
Sorry, just getting a bit hot here.
I pushed it up.
Okay, yeah, pull that over. Right. And what's the line number for it? It's 36.
Yes. I remember listening to a Google talk
Mm-hmm.
probably 5, 6 years ago about testing. What the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about like internally trying to get people to test stuff
Uh-huh.
in Google,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest problem was that people thought it was so much work to set up tests,
Right.
like all the background steps and all the,
Yeah.
and then like they
Mm-hmm.
would try to not do it.
Right.
And they had this guy that was going around like talking to them and saying, "No, you have to do this."
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then he, I think during the thing, he made during the beginning he made a comment on test driven development and how
Mm-hmm.
you know it was a joke like where someone said, how can you write tests? It slows you down so much.
Right.
He said his response was that how can you write code without tests?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like how can you write code without first having tests?
Indeed. And was the person suitably?
No.
Oh.
But he said like how many people in this room does it make sense for? And like half the people raised their hand or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've just added. Like, it seemed like there was another coding issue there. Do you want to just pull down the latest change and run on your side and see if running that generates any new things for you? Yeah, I mean, and riffing on what you're saying there, I mean, I kind of, we're obviously in this case, we're doing a lot of work, when we could have been knocking out 3 or 4 features, arguably. Whether those features would sort of carry on working or not is another matter. I mean, I know one person who was saying, like, I think that there's an extent to which by writing all this tests and doing all these background tests, it's forcing us to think in a lot of detail about how this is all working.
Mm-hmm.
And one person has said to me, the important thing is not the tests per se, but it is that you're doing all the thinking about how all the different things work. So if you have a different approach from testing that ensures that you still do all that thinking, then it doesn't have to be test or test driven that gets you up the mountain, so to speak.
Who said that?
That was my friend Henry Garner.
Henry Garner?
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
No, he's a guy here in the UK. He's written a book on Clojure. Did that generate? So did the latest version of the code generate any more stuff on your side?
No.
Good. Okay. So this is a test of some of the card thing, but we've got certain things about it that I think are slightly odd. In as much as there's still this bit of a hack that I put in to allow it to. I notice it also seems to be failing on.
So he's saying that the that there's no value in the regression suite, or very little value.
Well, I don't know that he's saying that. I think what he's saying is that the big value comes from the very, very detailed and careful consideration of what's going on.
Right.
And I guess he's I didn't put that question to him.
Oh, he wrote a book on doing data science and Clojure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Just look at our charges controller. So I mean,
I know there are people doing that stuff in Clojure, but it's not. It's not like what the MOOCs and all that are teaching. They're all teaching it in like Python. And they're all, yeah. Because there's, but I mean, Clojure is built on Java, and it's which obviously has Hot Open Spark plugins, but then you can kind of drive those from Python too. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of reviewed his book when he was writing it, and
it was brilliant.
It was okay.
Just okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was seeing early drafts. I mean, I think he then subsequently rewrote it kind of extensively after. I mean, I gave him a bit of feedback, and lots of other people did as well. And I haven't looked at the. I mean, I think I skimmed through a. I mean, I'm kind of. I mean, the idea of Clojure is interesting. I mean, I think that and there are occasions when I want to do data analysis. I don't feel like I must get Clojure out to analyze the data particularly, but that's just sort of one of the things that he's done. I'm looking here. I'm thinking.
Well, I don't think.
Go on.
I mean, I don't think it's for like casual analysis of data, right? It's for it's for putting things into production, right?
I don't know. The style of his book was of kind of like, let's do some exploratory analysis of different data sets using Clojure.
just exploratory analysis, not like.
Well, I mean, and then exploratory analysis, and then that was the first chapter, and then statistical analysis, and then this,
Right.
that, and the other. I mean, lots of different things.
That's interesting.
Um,
I mean, I would have thought the real bang with Clojure was like making, production systems.
yeah, I don't know. I know I mean, he is just like for fun done. Like he wrote a system in Clojure to solve the letterpress problem and allow him to beat other people at letterpress.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Ah. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. Right. So this is failing for me here because my current user doesn't have that token associated with it.
So does he spend like when you read his draft?
Uh-huh.
Did he spend a lot of time like explaining? Because a lot of the stuff that he's talking about, like I know already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's using it as a mechanism to introduce a lot of data science concepts that you probably already know.
So he is spending a lot of time covering that too.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But it is a beefy book. It's like 600 pages. So
Mm. Yeah, I'm sort of impressed that he, knuckled down and got it done.
then it's like, do you really want to read 600 pages?
Well, but so in principle here, if I want this to run locally, then I need to find my user previously, and then I want to do
I mean, you're giving it a tepid review.
no. I'm just saying that I thought that the draft that I reviewed was okay.
Okay.
I haven't properly reviewed the
Final product.
right. So I think it would be, I can't speak to what the final product is. Huh. That's strange. Is that because I'm not logged in? I'm not logged in.
We have to have a test for that too.
Mm.
That it asks you to log in. We should have a test.
Yeah. Will this let me do that with this? It will.
So now we're doing manual testing.
Yeah, I just want to see like that it actually gets to the thing that I hope it's going to get to here. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Right. So
if you go in to change the details, does it let you change them or?
Well,
Merge.
I mean, I've now sort of allegedly changed them successfully.
Right.
I mean, I can now go in there again and update the card details.
Put that in.
And I can
plus split in a stripe at gmail.com.
I mean, it doesn't seem to have like
Doing that same thing
like
again.
I mean, I think it's not doing that thing associating with this email address. I don't know, maybe special association with that email address. I mean, I should probably be using a different. I mean, I'm just trying different dates and stuff.
Right.
And you know, I mean, the acid test ultimately will be down to, you know, somebody who gets to a point where
They want to change it.
they really want to change their card, and they need to do it against the production server with the proper secret keys and everything, and it will either work or not. And we will then have to pick up kind of from there. I mean, I think we've got like in order for this to actually be deployed where people would use it at the moment, there's just the endpoint that we would have to tell people go to charges made up word and then the edit, because effectively that information about the, you know, the ID of what's being edited is thrown away. We don't, you know, we get the information about the current user. It's who you're logged in as. We don't allow you to go and arbitrarily update those things. So that's kind of a bit of a hack. In principle, I guess ultimately
the first thing, right, is massaging out the rest of this stuff, like putting a test in to check that they're actually logged in as a user, and then
yes,
associating all the current people with their tokens, which you'll have to.
Yes, those are two other things that need to be done. Yeah, I was
a third thing, if we really want to actually be like somewhat professional, would be to have somewhere in their menu.
Yeah, to say like
in in that menu that says, "Oh, update card details."
Right. Yeah, it would be one of your options as a user. If the token was present, then one of the options would be to update card details,
and it would take them to that page where they could click the button.
Right.
And that would be a minimal.
Yes. Thing. Well, I mean, I think interestingly, we can, and possibly even sensibly, we can deploy it without adding that thing, because
I mean, we could,
because actually, you know, if as soon as we add that button, we then have the situation where people can sort of discover it, and we may want to like get it out, because we won't, as I say, we won't know that it will work until we've actually done it. Right. But you're absolutely right. We should have a test here, which is like
we definitely should have a test that
cannot change. It's change membership. There's actually decides to change card details. And I guess if I want to avoid this regenerating all of those whatsits, I will need to update the name of the
folder.
Indeed. There to this one. Able to refactor, rename, to change card details. Okay, it's done. User cannot change card details if not logged in.
So, given I visit,
yeah. Given I should see, please log in. I mean, what we would ideally like to see is just redirect them to the login page, but that's it.
That's pretty simple.
Yep.
Before filter it.
Yes. And I guess I want to does it already have the functionality that we can kind of basically we can redirect them to somewhere and then log in, it'll automatically take them to that page?
Before filter authenticate user.
Right.
Except, yeah.
I was just gonna run that and see it fail.
Except index or whatever. Except whatever,
Right. Although in this case,
Only,
well, probably in this case only up to the extent that we
don't change anything else. Only.
yeah. Where was I running the tests? Here.
Why don't you just assert that it's on the sign-in page?
Then I should. Have we got it? Should
I think so, but maybe
on the login page. Wrong. Before.
because we're coming up on a scrum.
Yeah.
It's taking forever. It's not really that, that long, actually. It's just
What's not that long?
all of this.
Oh yeah.
I mean, really, it's not that long.
No. Although there's been a lot of background work to kind of constrain it to where we've got it to.
Yeah, we probably spent 3 hours.
Yeah, no, I mean, if we can wrap this up today, then that's a reasonable thing to have done in about 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
So basic steps is not. It doesn't. It's called sign up instead of login or something. It's got step definitions. Basic steps. We want to be online. 50.
It's just wanting bananas to get you in trouble.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Do we have a? We do. It's called sign in instead of login, right? Okay. So that's the expected failure. Shall I just? It's trivial, isn't it? Shall I just slap that in there?
Yes.
Before filter, authenticate user, and then only. Oh, is it bang?
I think it's bang, yeah, but
And only edit, update.
I think that's built in to
Yeah.
device.
What is it suggesting to me? It says convert the thing to a what's it? Oh, really? Is it saying? Wow, that's like suggesting I convert it the other way around.
Oh, the hash rocket.
Yeah, that's interesting. That it's suggesting it that way around. And maybe there's a standard that's what you use there. I don't know. I like fewer marks on the screen, and that passes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the interesting thing is that if we now sign out, and then we try and go to charges, Tansaku edit, it takes me to sign in. If I do sign in,
Where does it take you?
yeah, it takes me back there. Beautiful. Okay, so it's very Spartan.
But that's what you like.
I do like Spartan. I mean, I love like super high production quality things, but I like
Not on your budget.
well, I like things working even more. And what I guess I want, my ultimate goal is to be inspiring people with the whole beautiful Spartanness and workingness of things, and people will feel so inspired that they'll want to get involved and help the production quality gradually go up over time.
The ultimate goal is to get a person with a suit
Yes.
to get you $1 million.
Well, we've got that issue. The
Yeah.
issue is open now, so it's clearly only a matter of time before. The other thing that I was thinking that happens here, though, now
I
is
was
that.
thinking
Oh, go on.
if it has to be a three-piece suit.
Well,
It has
really.
to have the vest and everything.
Uh-huh.
I think that would seal the deal.
Yeah. Well, uh, I'm just going to direct this young gentleman to.
I think if you just walk in with a suit,
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't have the vest.
You think like I should be wearing the suit, or we need to find somebody who can look good in a suit?
Somebody with a good
Yeah.
suit.
Right.
I mean, everybody looks good in a suit,
Right.
usually. But I think the three-piece, with the vest,
Yeah.
I think that's key. With the tie tucked in under the vest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that would give them some refinement, and the person would say, "Oh, obviously,
Yeah.
obviously,
Absolutely.
guys should be given $1 million."
Well, that's as long as we've got a plan. The thing I was going to say here was we've added this JavaScript. If we run all the other tests now,
Although, according to the Social Network movie,
uh-huh.
Mark Zuckerberg once went into a venture capitalist office with a bathrobe on.
Did he?
Well, that's in the movie at least.
Right. Well, that's yes.
But basically, it was actually for him. He wanted money from that venture capitalist in the movie, like earlier on.
Yeah.
They wouldn't give him money,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and he started getting advertising revenue. So then they wanted to get in, and
Mm-hmm.
he got dressed up in a bathrobe to go over there and tell them to screw themselves.
Okay. Yes. I mean, I've been in a room with people who've previously given me $1 million and said, "I'd like another 10, please."
You have?
I have.
And what did they do?
They didn't give me another 10
Why not?
because it was 2008, and I think they had no money left
Hmm.
because the bottom had just fallen out of the stock market. But it was nice. It was a nice.
Or
It was. I mean, I think that at the time they were trying to, like, say, we didn't really get our money's worth for what you've done so far, and I was arguing that they had, and I was saying, and I can give you more, and let's double down, put in another 10 million, and it'll be huge.
what did they give you $1 million for, though?
That was for an augmented reality project.
Oh, and that never actually happened, or
Well, we spent the $1 million and we made some prototypes, but then they didn't have the money to follow through.
no?
And subsequently, then Google Glass did various similar things that we'd done. Although, interestingly, Google Glass then didn't take off. I mean, it's we were going for a slightly different model. I mean, I think the sort of thing that we were developing at that time still didn't get created, but we also ultimately failed to get the patent that we were filing further down the road, and so that was, that was sort of the ultimate thing that.
Even with $1 million, you couldn't get the patent.
Well, I mean, we filed it. I mean, ultimately, there was a piece of prior art that was judged to be too close.
Where was the patent filed at?
In the US?
Really?
Yeah.
Who actually found the prior art?
I think it was the legal firm that we were using to register the patent with.
Oh, they actually found it?
If I recall, I might be wrong.
I thought the goal of patents was not to find the prior art. of your attorney?
Well, I mean, you want to, the process of writing a patent, you got an idea, and then you want to try and register that patent. And part of what you will have looked at a certain number of patents, but there's a huge number of patents. And part of what the, patent attorney will do is, use their knowledge and resources as well. And they can bring up other patents that they think are relevant. I mean, I may be remembering wrong. It may be that I found the patent and I felt that it was significantly different. But then you've got to argue, you've got to make a case why your technology is significantly different. And that can, the patent office will then, issue it or not, depending upon what they think of the case that you've made.
Right. So does Britain have a patent office?
Oh yeah.
And they may decide things differently than the U.S.
They may, but I was in the U.S. when this was all happening.
Oh.
I mean, this was entirely a U.S. thing, and it was U.S. money and good old U.S. dollars and all this, that, and the other. So I'm running the full test suite now, and I'm getting some failures. I'm hoping that they can perhaps be resolved by deleting certain YAML files and recreating other files.
But did you have to wear a suit?
No. I did occasionally wear my Hawaii business outfit.
What was that?
It's a Hawaiian shirt and long trousers.
Oh, so this was like a Hawaiian.
It was while I was, yes. I mean, I lived in Hawaii for 7 years. When I say the US.
And people with $1 million were in Hawaii, or?
Mm-hmm. They were.
Okay. Maybe that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess people don't wear suits in Hawaii.
Not as much. But yeah, the it's kind of, I said the Hawaiian business outfit is worn a lot.
Well, you should go talk to those people and ask them for another $1 million.
Well, yeah, I could do that. I mean, I think the problem is when you get given $1 million, there are strings attached to it, usually. And I'm not sure that I want to be in that situation again with those strings attached. Interesting. So we're getting just sort of random test failures there. Yeah, I mean what we want. Although this is a different situation with it's a charity net context, so that's different. I mean, I've kind of added to my email signature this, like promoting the charity and sort of.
Well, I assume like if you were to get money from some venture capitalist, they would want seats on the board and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sort of make sense for a venture capitalist, because the reason that a venture capitalist puts in money is that they're expecting the thing to be bought.
No, I mean, they're not doing, like, they don't do it as a venture capitalist per se.
Right.
They're like the same people usually.
Well, I mean, I think the same sort of person. I mean, if they've got money to burn, and they just want to do it like to be like they're interested in the idea and it's kind of cool and it'll reflect well on them and so on. And if we were massively much more high profile, then I mean, I can imagine people putting money into Free Code Camp, because they've gone, well, at least according to their own press releases, they've gone very high profile. Yeah, so what we've got here now is running the whole test suite. We get this complete set of these new files.
Better marketers.
Maybe. I get the my guess is that the main guy is just, well, I'm trying to up our, marketing division, which is like about an eighth of my brain. I've got like a little social media engine going.
So what's the issue going on right now? Something's failing.
Well, so running the entire test suite, we now generate these separate folders for all of the different,
which we expected,
which we sort of expect. We are having a random selection of
failures
that are, as far as I mean, they're sort of the usual suspects. That are.
So what happens if you run them individually?
Oh, okay.
Nuke the caches for them and then run them individually and see if they'll pass.
Well, or at least, I mean, having run the first time and got the caches, it may be that the entire thing would be stable if we ran the thing again. I mean, it may be that the failures were associated with like having to load things over the network. I mean, that was my overall suspicion is now that fails there again. I mean, I can nuke the cache for that one. This is the documents feature. But so I'll have to go and look at I want to delete that big chunk of old stuff. I think I will just do that because I don't think that can help me anymore. And it's getting in the way. Delete. So documents feature on line 130, a user can insert an image, and the feature is manage document. So manage document, a user can insert an image. There's a set of those. I can delete that. We can rerun it individually. And there will also be a cassette associated with it. Manage document, a user can insert an image. There's also elements of things going on the server side. So I may want to reset both of those. So this is the kind of, just not finding it. I will delete the YAML file there. A user can insert an image. We have a set of delete. So that still fail individually. Now I wonder if these are the intermittent failures. If we can get it to pass once and save the stuff, it'll then pass subsequently. I mean, no, it's probably not going to. I mean, what I would be tempted to do.
We need to get further up on the Google rankings.
Sure.
Like when I search for learn to code, we're not even.
Right. Well, although I don't know that we want to go for that market so much. I think we're kind of like about people who know how to code and want to level up. So that's, But I mean, you can argue we should be competing in the same space with boot camps and free code camp and so on to be reaching out specifically to people who have almost no coding experience and want to start from scratch.
Well, they could, right?
Well, they can. We can. I mean, but that's there's different marketplaces. I mean, for me, I'm more interested in working with people who've perhaps graduated from boot camps, who've graduated from universities, who've been in the workplace for a year or two, and are hoping to kind of level up their skills by working on real projects. I think it's and I'm very happy to work with absolute novices who are interested in leveling up or learning to code by throwing themselves in at the deep end. But I'm less interested in like developing curricula like Freed Code Camp and many of the boot camps have that sort of say, right, coding is this, and starts you from the very scratch. You know what I mean?
Right.
and I think that's a very heavily competitive space. Um, I think, for example, anyway, but yeah, so we're kind of stuck with this failure here. I mean, I can kind of. I mean, well, look at the thing. It's saying the Mercury editor. Then we expected to find the Mercury modal, but there were no matches.
Oh, I hate that.
So, I mean, one hypothesis. Well, the thing that I'm not sure about, because we went through this process of the clean room reimplementation of the Cucumber features in order to have everything sandboxed, and my hope was that some of the intermittently strange behavior from the JavaScript things was down to network latencies. When if the headless browser was attempting to make network connections and so on and so forth, there's obviously like a degree of random variation there. And so having the Puffing Billy request cache reduces that variation, which makes sense. It did not, however, remove the it did not remove the problem of intermittently failing tests, and no, and I am not sure if it even reduced the problem.
On my computer, definitely did.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think it did seem to reduce it for local development machines like yours and mine. The CI continued to have all sorts of problems. Intermittent. Do I not have? Have I spelled that wrong? Am I in the wrong project here? I thought we had more folders of. I thought we had like have I accidentally deleted like half the files here? Because what happened here? Like suddenly I'm seeing like under support. Oh no, that's support. Oh, okay. My brain. Sorry, I was thinking I'd accidentally deleted these files up here. No, I haven't done that. Okay. Find in path. Anyway, so the thing that I'm looking for here is intermittent. Yes. So I've got. Yeah, you can see I've got on. Actually, some of these ones here that they're intermittent JS fails for. And what was the set of failing ones here? They were, in fact, so that's like 1, 6, 9. So actually, the ones that are all failing there, or at least 2 of them, are 2 that I've already marked with intermittent fail. And let's mark those. But so it's interesting that reloading the caches in this context. I mean, that's that we haven't changed any of these things. I mean, the thing that's changed is that now we've rerun these things with a live connection to the outside world for the first time in a long time. And so it's re-recorded the requests, and they're failing under those circumstances. That project one, I don't remember seeing that one. Oh, it is also with a Mercury editor, though. So, I think what I'm tempted to do just here is to just add features. Okay, click commit -a. This is adds new cache files as part of new Billy config, cleans up and adds requirement to be logged into change card details, git push origin, and maybe check that out and see if that runs on your side.
Did it work for you?
Well, no. I mean, as in I was getting those intermittent failures. I'm going to run it all again now locally, and I guess I will create the scrum where we will check in with Puneet. And but yeah, then I've got to take the kids to karate, so that'll be the day. I'll see. Bye to our viewer. We had a viewer. We've had one viewer occasionally. Greetings, viewer. Sorry for not saying hello earlier. I wonder if you're the same viewer that we had before. Anyway, either way, great to have your viewership. Bye for now.